Yesterday, the Prime Minister testified before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, where he provided clarifications to certain questions posed by the Commission and the officers of the Attorney General's Department. Let's now cross over to Newsfirst.lk for a more comprehensive report on some of the Prime Minister's clarifications.
Yesterday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, testifying before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, said there was no policy decision taken in March 2016 to request state banks to bid at a low. However, he said there were considerations to ensure that there was no speculative bidding. Though the Prime Minister said he was not aware of those meetings and he was not aware that his advisor R. Paskaralingam attended those meetings, the three chairmen of these banks, the Bank of Ceylon, the National Savings Bank and People's Bank, as well as the general managers of those banks, testifying before the Presidential Commission several months ago, said that before the March 29th and March 31st auctions in 2016, the then Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake called them to the Finance Ministry and instructed them to bid low at those specific auctions. The witnesses reiterated that this instruction was given at both those meetings. In addition, when the previously deleted telephone conversation recordings from Perpetual Treasuries Limited were played at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry as evidence, it was clear that Arjun Aloysius, on one of those days, calling Kasun Palisena, the Chief Executive Officer, and instructing him to bid at a certain rate, highlighting that he has information that the state banks were going to bid low. This evidence was produced to the Commission by the officers assisting the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Now, furthermore, the Prime Minister was questioned about the conflict of interest yesterday. He was asked, did he know that Arjun Aloysius was the son-in-law of Arjuna Mahendran? When the evidence was being examined, Ranil Wickremesinghe told that he instructed Arjuna Mahendran to ensure that Arjun Aloysius resigns from the post of director at Perpetual Treasuries Limited, divests all shares under his name, and also cease all operations and stop getting involved in the operations of Perpetual Treasuries Limited. However, previously, the Attorney General's Department pointed out that although Arjun Aloysius stepped down as a director of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, he continued to function as the owner of the Perpetual Group along with Jeffrey Aloysius. They pointed out that 100% of Perpetual Treasuries Limited is owned by Perpetual Asset Management Private Limited. Perpetual Asset Management is owned by Perpetual Capital Holdings Private Limited. Perpetual Capital Holdings Private Limited is owned by Perpetual Capital Private Limited, and that is owned by Arjun Aloysius and Jeffrey Aloysius. The Attorney General's Department pointed out that the sole beneficiary of this group, including Perpetual Treasuries Limited, was Arjun Aloysius and Jeffrey Aloysius. It must also be mentioned that while Arjun Aloysius continues to serve in this group as a director, Arjuna Mahendran is still his father-in-law.